I don't know, man. Maybe I expect an Ezreal Yuumi coming out from LGD once again. But now LGD will just pick Syndra. Let's see, right here.
All right, the predictions on through. It's the Ezreal for Helper to try and take away the Ezreal Yuumi combo. LGD, they've actually banned away the Karma, so maybe the Ezreal Yuumi could be a good pickup for DMO this time around instead.
Yeah, Mitsuki has played it once, so we know it's a champion that he could pilot. LGD in past series, though, has actually first picked Syndra over Ezreal, so that's why I'm actually expecting them to pick it here.
Well, you're not wrong, Lyric. You're not wrong at all. It's going to be the first pick for LGD. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see them go for something. Well, they're actually just going to go for both solo lanes, which is not a common thing. To go for both solo lanes right at the start of the draft is...
It's also strange when you think about that DMO have natural. DMO are not going to take away Ornn.
Yeah. I guess not wanting to give away a strategy though, right? Ornn is a pretty neutral top lane pick. It certainly doesn't say too much about how you want to play the game.
I am quite disappointed that I feel like DMO could just go Yuumi and they were hovering Trundle. I'd love to see them go Trundle here because, of course, the pillar being very good against Syndra, and also they've already taken their Ornn. So just take away the stats, and Yuumi pairs well with Trundle as well.
They could still go for the Trundle. It is going to be locked in. I feel like you know these teams quite well. Are you an LPL analyst or something?
You know, I might work on the broadcast from time to time. I might be like a substitute Clement Shu in a way, but I can't replace Clement.
Nobody can replace Clement. Not in my heart.
I know, I agree. Interesting guy. But this, right, there we go. This is the pick that would make sense. It's actually what we expected to see game one coming out from DMO. LGD, of course, picking it up. So they are going to be able to match the scaling coming out from the side of DMO.
Yep, the Aphelios, it's been strong the last week across the world. We've seen multiple players having some pretty insane performances when they can stack up the shurikens. Azir going to be banned away by LGD though, trying to deny some of the scaling away from DMO. As you know, when looking at their composition already, they're clearly looking towards the late game again.
Yeah, and I want to see where they go with jungle. I was expecting them to go for the Kindred, but, you know, DMO just spanned out the Kindred. Obviously, the other one that comes to mind is Graves, but as shown by last game, I don't think Peanut really cares about having to default to something like a Lee Sin.
Yeah, I mean, Peanut, if you've got anyone on Lee Sin, Peanut's the guy, right, at the end of the day. He's just so exceptionally good. Maybe Caster can be in that argument as well, but Lee Sin is actually going to be taken off the board in the end. So now LGD have to rethink their plan of where Peanut's going to go. The Rek'Sai available, that was banned.
But that was banned by LGD against DMO.
Yeah.
Xiaopeng is the Rek'Sai man.
But Rek'Sai has come into the meta recently anyway. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't be crazy to see Peanut playing.
It's just going to be the Graves bunch. There we go.
Yeah.
If he'd gone for the Yuumi, that would have been, not the Yuumi, I'm sorry, the Elise would have been a bit weird, but it
would have been very Peanut though.
I was going to say, we know here players, it's not about what goes best in your draft. It's about what you feel most comfortable on. I like what DMO picked up so far, though, because so far it has been about what goes best in their draft. Now the question is actually, what does Twyla take in the mid lane? Because his champion pool doesn't exactly have anything that answers Syndra quite well.
It's going to be the Sylas by the looks of things, going to Twyla in the mid lane.
So I actually want to see if it is going to be his Sylas, or if they're just going to have natural pick that up in top, because Sylas is not a Twyla champion.
I guess we'll have to find out. They're hovering top champions, though, so it could well be Twyla debuting on the Sylas.
Don't fall for it, Munchables. They're going to lock in Azir or a Zillion or an Aurelion Sol. Okay.
Nope, they're going to lock in the Aatrox. Don't fall for it, Lyric.
I'm just saying that this is a new dimension coming out from DMO. It's going to be really interesting to see how Twyla plays this matchup. Obviously, pretty rough in the early levels, and even as it keeps going, you're very dependent on your jungler playing around mid. Sylas functions very similarly to Irelia in the sense that to win lane, you need to constantly look for trades and all in.
Yeah, we could have a bit of a brawl around the mid lane because we've got Graves Syndra versus that Trundle Sylas. But the Leona locked in for Mark. This is something we've seen him play a ton in the past. Actually has an 84% win rate right now. Which I'm not sure how many games that is over, but it's been picked a decent amount.
I just want to point out, a Lulu there would have been beautiful. But we're moving forward because that's not the LPL style. Overall, though, LGD's composition, once again, this is what LGD have been doing kind of every game. Even though they've had these comps with TF, they still draft a core 4 that is very strong in front-to-back team fights, right? We have typically seen Longsheng every game has been on a frontline champion. Mark as well has tended to be on these more engage-heavy supports. Then we have our 3-man carry kind of in the back. On the side of DMO, though, it's way more brawly, way more skirmishy. You want to create a lot of chaos, spread people out, and then that's where the Aatrox and Sylas will thrive. Both of them with a Yuumi on their shoulder sounds terrifying.
That is for sure, but the big question for me is, can DMO keep that ball rolling? In game number 1, they started things off strong, but it felt like they sort of stalled out in the mid-game and couldn't keep the picks rolling, couldn't get that pick composition to work out. Now, again with a mid-game style, can they get that snowball going enough that they can push through to a victory?
It's very interesting because their comp is still very strong in the late game.
Yeah.
When it comes to late game, I feel like it's going to be about the styles of fights that we can see, because if Aatrox and Sylas can coordinate jumping onto that backline with the Yuumi, I actually feel like the Ezreal doesn't actually matter too much in that scenario, because you're going to have so much sustain in their kits. They obviously have so much burst potential onto any of the carries of LGD, but if LGD can get that vision set up, have the front to back, then it's all LGD favored.
And it's going to be a question of engagement, right, as well, because you've got the Ornn, you've got the Leona. If DMO are the ones starting that fight, maybe they can set up that kind of situation. But if LGD are in the right spot, it's going to be very hard to find that scenario to play it out. LGD against DMO here as we head into game number 2. LGD starting the series off strong and drafting towards these late game front-to-back team fights once again.
Also, going to be interesting to see. For Twyla, you really want to just take Longsheng's ultimate. Of course, Mark's is good as well. You don't really care too much about getting the Syndra or the Aphelios one, in my opinion. It is going to be more about these engage-style ultimates. It's kind of disappointing that he's on the same team as Yuumi, because Sylas is a champion that I feel like uses Yuumi's ultimate better than Yuumi. Also, Nico as well, because you're able to like jump in and choose kind of where that goes yourself.
Yeah, there's a few ultimates that I feel like Sylas is exceptionally good with. Also, Fiora's ultimate he's pretty good at, because it gives him the extra movement speed every time he procs one, so you can kind of survive a little bit better during those fights. Looking at the runes, everything relatively standard here. And I'm curious whether or not we see Mark and Kramer trying to go a bit aggressive in the bottom lane, if they ever get the chance to get onto Helper on this Ezreal.
Yeah, they should have Prio in the mid lane. It's, again, mid lane matchup's going to be very skill dependent. Can Shay hit those Qs? Can Twyla land an E? Of course, Shay has phase rush, so it's going to be easier for him to coordinate that matchup. But if Shay is able to get push and kind of lean towards bot, then DMO's bot lane will feel some threat.
I feel like there's a lot of action in this bottom lane, despite nobody really getting hit by much and nobody really taking too much damage. You see Mitsuki trying to get the most of the poke out of this Yuumi before the level 2s are hit.
Yep, just this is kind of how we'd expect the lane to go right now, with DMO's bot lane posturing so aggressively with the poke they have available.
But Mark is about to hit level 2, and they do not want to get hit by the Zenith Blade. Do need to be a little cautious. Because even Aphelios, you know, we talk about Aphelios as a late game champion. He's not that weak in the early game either.
Ooh, and they're baiting this one out.
Here we go, 2v3 here. Mark went in, but immediately gets exhausted. Doesn't have the Eclipse, so he's not that tanky. Forced to flash away. Yeah,
now LGD's bot lane not going to be able to play as aggressively. Always going to have to wonder if Xiaopeng is in that back pocket. But, you know, one thing I wish we'd see more in pro play, which seems like we don't, is seeing, I remember Uzi would do it a lot last year, where we'd see him like go and like fake ward, go to pretend to ward, or mid laners that like just walk into Fog of War and put this kind of fake pressure on another lane.
Yeah, I feel like we don't see it too often.
Not much. It's something I feel like we see more as the year goes on, but at the start of the split, it's almost not at all.
It's definitely the kind of thing that you see when you're getting to playoffs, right? When you're getting to the really serious games. And hang on, we've got a fight on our hands here. Kramer's in trouble. Bear in mind, summoners are already running out here. Xiaopeng is low, and that's going to be first blood to Kramer. How on earth are they winning this one as Helper forced away? Aphelios with first blood, not ideal for DMO.
Not only first blood, but he has those double buffs, so Helper and Mitsuki going to be under constant threat from that red buff. And we already see Mitsuki's mana bars completely run out. Helper's as well, so.
In a 3v3 as well, when Mark and Kramer had already used a flash and a heal. Oh, there's a stun. Xie doesn't have any mana. Auto's
Whoa!
in. No, the Kingslayer. Oh, Xie, what have you done? He's in trouble, but in comes Peanut to save the day. Twyla still surviving. Xiaopeng desperately wants to finish something up. I can't believe nobody died there.
Look, Munchables, we've seen two things here. One, Twyla does not play Silas. I'm sorry. I don't want to let him know that. I'm sure he plays Silas to a good level, but not playing it in pro play, so bit inexperienced there. And then Xie just, it seems like it hit him too late that he could have killed Twyla, right?
Yeah.
Because had he pulled the trigger initially, Twyla would be dead.
Yeah, he just waited a second before going for the flash auto.
Exactly.
Oh, aggressive from Mark.
I'll
There.
still
Hex
say
flash into Zenith.
good from Twyla to at least like abuse and try to abuse that mistake from Xie.
Yeah. Gets the Kingslayer off to heal himself and just about survives. Xie now going to get aggressed upon by Twyla. And this is a nice trade to find for Twyla.
Right.
It's not often that you get just free fire onto a Syndra.
Exactly, and that's how it goes, right? If you can hit that E, you can hit the abscond abduct. Pretty much all Silas matchups, you feel very good in those trades, but that's why Xie has the phase rush. And again, he could be the one dictating if he is hitting those Qs.
So I'm going to keep my eyes on Peanut and Xiaopeng here because we kind of have this standard 10-11 jungle matchup, right, between the Graves and the Trundle. These are easily the two highest priority junglers across the world. And I'm curious how they're going to be able to play this one out. Helper does get caught by the Zenith Blade. Kramer not in a position to follow up, though. It means that Mark is actually going to be the one that takes more damage than anyone.
Going back to the Trundle, it's also very interesting that I feel like the opinion on this matchup is very divided because when I listen to a lot of analysts and coaches, everyone says this matchup is Graves' favorite. Graves beats Trundle. That's just how it is. But for some pros I've talked to, they don't think it's that clear cut. They don't think that despite the phase rush and the mobility coming out from his E, it's not that easy for Graves to kite out the Trundle. Even with the Frozen Domain and the Pillar is enough to get in those 1v1s.
Could have a 2v1 at this point. We'll revisit the jungle talk in a minute because Natural has to flash away. Does dodge the second knock-up and his World Ender gives him movement speed, but everybody's arriving. Peanut has a lot of damage. Collateral damage, though, won't be there yet. Langsheng flashes to finish off the Brittle.
And great to see coming out from Langsheng.
Ooh. Oh, another Zenith Blade onto Helper. He's able to just dash away with a Z, and it means that LGD can't quite finish anything off.
Great to see Peanut ganking top because on this iteration of LGD, we've actually seen Peanut giving a lot of attention to mid and bot, which is nice when you look at kind of how the roster is built. You obviously want to play around Xie and Kramer, and Langsheng is no stranger to having no resources, but still great by them to secure that second kill.
Yeah, absolutely. Peanut now looking towards the Scuttle Crab. I didn't have Smite available. Natural at the right place at the right time. He's able to just sneak that one away from him. I do want to revisit the conversation, though, about Trundle and Graves. We're never going to have time. We're never going to have time. Xie's in trouble now. He's going to be chased on down and easily finished off. Xiaopeng barely survives, actually. But it's still a kill, and it still goes to Xiaopeng.
Yeah, feels great. Again, getting ahead in this sort of matchup. Whenever Aphelios and Syndra don't have their flash up, it's going to be so rough, especially once we get into the mid-game fights against an Aatrox, against a Sylas. Just going to be able to jump in freely. Pillar going to shut them down so easily. Of course, the Yuumi ult as well.
Oh, hang on. Moonlight Vigil and a flash from Kramer. It's answered by Helper's own flash. He had so many chakrams. He wanted to try and make the play, and Mark might just be able to enable that play. They are not on the same page, though. Mark is just trying to force them away. But he used his Ignite.
Xiaopeng is here.
I feel like Mark wanted that, and Kramer just didn't. Heal now going to be used. Barely gets away from the Pillar. And if he had been just an inch further back, he would have been caught there.
And I feel like DMO should know that LGD are doing this Dragon from the fact that Kramer and Mark were still posturing so aggressively despite Xiaopeng being there. So overall, slight advantage for LGD. But these two games are a lot closer than I expected.
Yeah, for sure. Well, at least in the early game. Once we got past sort of the 20-minute mark, things fell apart
was that a
quickly.
DMO LGD issue or was that a draft issue?
I mean, I feel like it was maybe both, honestly.
I guess you can't have one without the other.
I've seen plenty of Kassadin games where it's not like, oh, 2 items, okay, we win the game immediately.
Hey, not in the LPL because it's undefeated, so you're lying.
But what I'm saying is it's not quite as immediate. It's not like, oh, you finished the Seraphs? You don't even have the shield yet? Okay, well, you still just win the game.
But we're missing the context. Okay, I guess this proves your point. I'll say we're missing the context of DMO kind of, I don't use the word inting, but kind of running into that fight beforehand.
Yeah, you're kind of arguing for me here, Lyric. I'm not going to lie. Nice pillar from Xiaopeng to deny the charge from Langxing. Natural knocked up, though, and Peanut is there to finish this kill off. Langxing with a second kill of the game now. And this is going to open up the Rift Herald for LGD. Xiaopeng has been found. Stun comes through. I don't think Xie has the damage to finish it by himself.
He wasn't putting down any spears, so we didn't expect him to look for the kill there, but I'm also very pleasantly surprised at how well Mark and Peanut have worked together, because we had Killua on the roster last split, and he actually was an upgrade, right? Chance was more of a rookie, not having much experience, and I actually liked Killua being on this roster, but Mark has done such a good job of moving around the map and finding these playmaking options, which definitely didn't feel like Killua, despite the fact that Killua was also a Bard player.
Yeah, and I mean, Killua playing a lot of the Taric as well, to my memory, in the last split, which it's kind of a team-based pick, right? You're not really the individual playmaker.
Exactly, and to me, that's more of his identity, is the Taric and especially the Braum. I was having a conversation with Clement about that about Killua, the thing that stood out to him was the Braum play, so a lot more of a defensive, stick with your AD carry sort of support.
Which can, obviously, you can be individually exceptional in that role, but it's not quite as flashy, right? You're not going to make as much of a name for yourself. First tower of the game, though, important to mention, Kramer grabbing that one and getting a ton of gold, 610 into his pocket as he got so many tower plates. They even get a second charge off of the Herald as well. It's a little bit of a Brucey bonus for them. 2,000 gold lead at 10 minutes, but it's the other way around to where it was in game 1.
Ultimately, going back to that second shot, it doesn't mean too much because LGD don't have a comp that's actually going to threaten that top lane inner turret, so it's more of a... I don't even want to use the word luxury. It actually means nothing. It's actually like a meaningless charge. Maybe it'll mentally affect Natural to be like, my turret's half HP, oh god, there's pressure, but it shouldn't do that.
Okay, well, I get excited about the second charge. I know a lot of people at home get excited about second charges on Heralds.
You know, the Herald's excited.
They do
so.
matter. Second charges matter, okay?
Is this going to be a campaign slogan?
I think so. We'll see. We'll see how the night goes on.
Some new LGD merch.
Second charges matter. Anyway, so I do... I'm really nervous to try and bring up the Graves Trundle topic again, because every time I have, immediately a fight starts.
Well, just do your best. Okay, actually, we're setting up for a dive, so...
there's going to be a fight.
But Xiaopeng is hovering with Mitsuki.
Maybe Help is just fine here.
Both top laners
maybe
do
Help
have
is
TP,
going to walk
though.
into them.
Syndra is here. Twyla also has TP, and he's backing, so Twyla could get a very good TP coming off base.
It's possible. Stun onto Help, a nice arcane shift to keep himself out of harm's way. The rest of the team responds from DMO. Nicely done to answer this. It means the dive can't come through from LGD in the end. Or can it? Mark still wants to make this happen.
We're going to get something.
TP actually going to be pulled from
Ooh,
Natural.
double TP.
And suddenly we have a whole team in the bottom lane. DMO pulling a play off. They're looking for Kramer, and he is removed from the play. Langxing is late to his own party and now has to back away from this one. Nicely done here from DMO.
Yeah, nice to see them have some creative playmaking ideas. The unfortunate thing is there isn't exactly an immediate objective for them to take, and ooh, very lucky from Peanut to still get that when he smited too early, but you are so early, though, that LGD will be able to come back on the map in time for Dragon, but I still want to praise DMO for the fact that they weren't showing us signs of life in their first two series, so this is exciting to see.
It's a great play to watch because it's kind of like an E-Star play, right? Where it's like it is a great play.
It's a play. They're making a set play that they proactively chose to do.
It happened and it was great, and they pulled it off and they got themselves a couple of kills. Was there an objective? Did they achieve anything in the grand scheme of the game? Not really.
No, not at all.
But hey, they made a play, and this is one of the things that quite often we see from E-Star, right? That they make these plays that don't really achieve that much, but it's like keeping the momentum in the game going. If DMO can repeat these kind of plays, then they're in a great spot.
Now I want to see if Natural starts walking down towards Dragon. Of course, Langxing could have passed towards Dragon right now, and LGD could have just secured a second one.
Mark has found Xiaopeng in the jungle, though, and Solar Flare's there. There's a lot of damage from this team. And this cat ain't so happy when she's alone. There's a double kill for Xie, and the Infernal Drake has just spawned.
Ultimately, that just feels like a mistake from DMO because you think about it. they're posturing on the bottom half of the map like they want to look for a dragon, but Natural is the one pushing top. Natural can rotate, and hopefully Longxing will show on the wave, but they're doing both at the same time.
And by the way, Kramer has got himself every single turret play in the top lane and in the bottom lane this game. Kramer has so much gold from turret plays, it's absurd.
And I kind of want to move this conversation over to LGD as a whole, because it's one of the reasons I'm still skeptical on LGD, because a lot of the ways they've won feel like it doesn't look like, let's say, a WE win or an EDG win. They are still very slow. There are a lot of like errors you can see.
Hang on a second here, because we've got a fight. Oh, no, we don't have a fight. Never mind. I don't know if anyone saw the tower gold. It was up for a second there. 1,000 tower plate gold for Kramer. Just plates alone. That is an absurd amount of cash.
Like, I just remember their Game 3, sorry, going back, against V5, where V5 drafted that Cassiopeia into, like, the long-range Ornn Kindred.
Days. That is not fun. That is not fair.
Oh, my God.
And that isn't Aphelios, by the way. That's just, look at the items, man.
Yeah, that's an item difference thing. Also, he also has a bit of a spike from the Infernal as well.
He did crit twice, too.
Yeah.
With the well, I guess he's got more than 25 now, because he's got the seal.
So it's a lot more than just an Aphelios thing. It's very much a kind of state of the game.
Effect.
It's like a state of the game sort of thing.
Yeah. But the fact that he was a crit 80 carry helped, and Aphelios is a crit 80 carry. But yeah, continue with your point. Talk to me about why you're not convinced on LGD wins so far.
Well, I'm sorry, LGD are busy trying to convince me otherwise.
That they are. Xiaopeng knocked up final chapter across the team, but the Troll's already gone down, and Twyla will escape with his life here. Longxing is slightly drunk, so he knocks the ram the wrong way. Now Gravitum onto Helper, who is feeling the wrath of the Aphelios. Flash forward from Kramer, who does not like Ezreal's, apparently.
Ultimately, Munch, I'm going to give you very basic analysis. If DMO are ever standing in front of LGD's comp, LGD are just going to win the fight.
I love how Longxing literally altered the complete.
What is
Natural
this?
doing? Oh no! DMO! They've completely mental boomed.
I was going to say, if there is any sign of absolute tilt, it is right there.
He just
Holy.
Oh. I don't really know what to say about that one.
I do want to assure everyone at home, Datchel is not negative gaming. Oh, God.
Oh, I've lost it.
Oh, that hurt. It hurts because we've seen some bright spots out of DMO.
I really hope it's a part
and, like, once again, LG is doing something very standard. They're pushing out the side lanes. They're the one rotating first.
Oh, wait.
What?
Oh,
what
no, never mind.
The first ram was Twyla.
Yeah, I thought it was Twyla's ult the second one, and it was like, oh, it makes sense. No,
but
it was
still,
Longxing.
just overstepping a bit. But the big problem for me here is that, one, they didn't use their window, whatever it was, like 2 or 3 minutes ago, where Natural was the one pushing. They didn't use that opportunity, gave LGD the lead, and now it's LGD's turn. They have the window to make a play. They should expect it. No one's showing on the waves. They don't respect it. Natural still sticks in the bot lane, and then... oh,
my God, CA. Oh, he plays the brush camp by himself, even escapes with his life, and now the solar flare. Natural is going to be locked up and finished off as well. Oh, though it does have a good amount of sustain, actually, with the Yuumi. Maybe it can survive this one and turn it around. Peanut barely escapes. Ignite is there, though. And they just can't quite finish off any LGD members.
Okay, when you said turn it around, I was just thinking, calm down, sir.
Dude, he got them both to 100 HP.
Hey, maybe he can kill one person, but he's not turning anything around. He's still dead.
At this point in the game, when the score's like this, that is turning it around. That's positive gaming right there.
Okay, I give you that. This is one of those we take those situations.
He's making up for literally running it down 2 minutes ago. Okay, TP.
That had to come out. Kramer was like posturing like, okay, if no one's coming, I'm just going to kill this guy. But
Helper is not having a fun game.
Twyla cares about his team. That was a very Zillion-esque play, right? He didn't save his teammate with the ultimate. He said, hey, I have to TP here to make sure you don't get 1v1'd again.
Yeah. Twyla role-playing as Zillion, but even when he doesn't get to
This is why, okay, let's ignore the early laning phase. It happened. We all saw it happen. Twyla is the most consistent, like, decent performing member on this roster right now.
Yeah.
We see glimpses out of the others, especially Xiaopeng and Natural. We see good moments, but We also see moments like the thing that I hope is kind of clipped and now on Reddit, but you would expect it to be at least?
I would definitely expect it to be, but I don't know. I don't know if Natural deserves that kind of fame.
I feel bad, too, because he's a good player with a lot of promise.
And, like, look at his first game, right? We had some good moments on the Camille, and when we see him on Camille regularly, he has really, really highlight moments.
Well, and even this game, it was close. It was close for the first 10 minutes. We saw DMO making set plays. But then there's always one moment which leads to a chain of events.
Just keep talking.
The game, where does the game go? I don't even know at this point.
We're at 20 minutes, and LGD are just doing, I mean, they're doing whatever they want. They're walking underneath towers at this point. Herald used to get the tier 2 in the mid lane. In the meantime, this tier 2 will fall on the bottom side as well.
Just look at the face cam of Twyla right now. Like, that does not look like a guy who's having fun playing League of Legends. At the end of the day, you'll meet a lot of pros who genuinely believe that, like, I think even Sven from C9 said it pretty recently in interviews, like, you know, this is still League of Legends. It's still a game where, like, if you're playing your best, you still need to be having fun. It's that's why after games, I always look for, are players laughing after a win? I actually think it's a very good tell.
We'll see if LGD are going to be laughing after this. I think they're going to be laughing to the bank after this one, honestly.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, definitely for LGD, when you look at the histories of the players, they need wins like this. Like, when you look at the recent history, for players like Peanut, for players like Shie, these are guys that back in 2017, they were on top of the world. They were both in the world semifinals at the same time on opposite sides of the bracket. And then you look at their recent history, they came to the LPL and it all kind of went wrong for them, or slightly before they came to the LPL, or at least for Peanut, before he came to the LPL, he joined Gen G and just didn't have a great split for himself. He kind of needs a team that'll work for him now. And I mean, we got a fight here.
I'm gonna be honest. We're at the point where DMO really don't have many options. The game at this point is dictated by if LGD enacts some kind of throw. But
it's possible. But Kramer's not looking to make that happen on the Aphelios. Natural forced away. Shie, he has the skill button. It's available. He's gonna outskill. Oh, the mechanical outplay was just magnificent there.
Yeah, sure. For DMO, I just want to see after this match, you know, if they're going to decide to stick with this roster, which they do still have Bless on the bench if they want to enact some kind of change, but they consistently try that every split now. It doesn't really do anything. At least to recognize
that Twyla's going in for this one, actually. She is going to be fine.
Just realize that there were sides of life in this best of 3, that there were good things they could take away. And yeah, sure, there were a lot of bad things they could take away as well, but you know, just try to learn from it. Don't be discouraged, DMO. I feel like we were being really harsh at the start, and there needs to be a silver lining in there somewhere. Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Yeah.
I don't think DMO are listening to the cast right now, Jordan. I don't think they're going to be going, okay, we need to go back and see what the English casters thought of our play.
If they need some kind of motivational coach, I'm just saying.
You're doing a what, dude? You're like, I'm available if anyone's looking for a new member of the team.
Hey, I appreciate Wadid and feel like I can learn a lot from him.
Yeah, I mean, no criticism to Wadid, just...
oh, God.
Just making yourself. I'm not going to lie, Jordan. Of all of the teams that you could have said, hey, I'm looking for a job, I'm not sure DMO is the career move right now. Oh, dear. You just spend an entire game roasting DMO and then say, hey, by the way, I'm looking for a new gig.
You know, you make a good point.
I'm just saying for some career advice, maybe it's not the play. Anyway,
LGD are going to push into the base. They have lots of damage. They have a Call of the Forge God. They can look to dive these inhibitor turrets at any time. And DMO, they need hope for a miracle.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. They need Kramer to... I mean, honestly, Kramer's a Aphelios, so he probably could just dive the Nexus Towers and still be fine. Solar Flare doesn't quite land a stun, but actually, Lungshing is taken down at the start of this fight. Maybe this is it. Mark goes very deep, has the stopwatch. Twyla doesn't quite have the damage, and he'll fall, and suddenly... Maybe I got a little excited. Maybe I forgot about the ginormous gold lead. And maybe I forgot that LGD are going to close this one out in style here. Natural does survive on the fountain. Scatter the weak onto everyone. Shie playing with his food. There's another kill going the way of Kramer as Peanut jumps onto the fountain, falls down. It's going to be a 2-0 in the end. LGD finish out strong.
If you're an LGD fan, you feel great about this one. If you're a DMO fan, well, you know, you have, what is it, 12? 13 more series to play. So, you know,